Hi, good morning everyone. Till now we have a basic introduction to Indian polity and that is the way it should be because I'm not going directly through either Lakshmikant or Subhash Kashyap and I'm not starting it with either union or federal concepts or fundamental rights or something like that. Before that we are supposed to learn some basics like starting from what is government, types of governments, and what is freedom. Before dealing with fundamental rights, we are supposed to learn rule of law. Rule of law kind of things are based on actually freedom and liberty concepts, and these concepts vary from nation to nation. So, based on this one, we are supposed to learn each and everything from the beginning. As we have more number of days for UPSC 2022 civil services examination, we can spend that kind of time because while going through NCRT books also we are going to learn these concepts only, these basics only. What is the difference between a parliamentary government and a presidential type of government, and what is the difference between a unitary government and a federal government, what is the difference between freedom and liberty. So such kind of things has to be discussed as we are having sufficient amount of time. So today I will be discussing about government. So the very first thing is related to government is maybe many of people are habituated towards government means something like a group of ministers will be there and they will be assisted by the bureaucrats and supported and controlled by the judiciary, so something like that. But remember one thing, when an individual rules, it is also a government. When group of people rules, it is also a government. So, a government may be an individual or group of people who are going to rule by imposing certain rules and regulations, and that individual is responsible for all the three activities. Whatever you take, legislature or executive or judiciary. For example, in ancient times, you can take ancient to medieval times, you take there used to be emperors, there used to be kings. So the king himself used to take care of taking actions related to legislature, that is making laws, and taking actions related to judiciary, and taking actions related to execution of things. So in those days the king used to do everything with the help of his ministers or his people. So that kind of government is there, and at the same time nowadays we have a group of people elected by the people, and they are giving they are taking responsibility of ruling set of people. So government means a group, it can be a group of people or an individual by using certain rules and regulations who rules a particular region or a state or a country, which means a particular geographical area, who rules a particular geographical area. Now, whenever this group comes, this individual comes, we can replace them with contemporary things like, here I am taking the group as parliament in Indian context. Here I am taking the individual president of India context. So we have, now I have taken the definition with respect to all the things. A group or an individual who rules a particular geographical area. It may be a small area, it may be a big area, irrespective of the size, a particular geographical area, and certain rules and regulations will be imposed. Now in ancient days, in medieval times, you can use a group or an individual, but now in modern context, I am replacing this group with the parliament, this individual with the president of USA. He can be compared with that. So likewise, a government is a group or an individual who rules a particular geographical area, and he takes care of the things like, and he or she or that group takes care of the things like legislature, executive, and judiciary. That's why, in the context of Montesquieu, remember this person? He's a political scientist, a philosopher, many things. So, in the context of Montesquieu, a government is defined as a combination of legislature and executive and judiciary. A very simple definition is given to government. So, in modern context, we can define government as it's a combination of legislature and executive and judiciary, and it takes the help of a constitution or set of rules and regulations. It can be it can be a written constitution or unwritten constitution, but it needs something, certain rules and regulations are required. For example, every piece of land is having its own law, that is called national law, and at the same time we are supposed to follow natural law also. So with the help of national law and with the help of natural law and with the help of constitutional law, a government functions. So a government needs a constitution, whether it is written constitution or unwritten constitution, or if it is not having any such thing like constitution, it at least is supposed to have set of rules and regulations which are based on its national law and natural law also. Both of them has to be taken care of. So national law is important, at the same time natural law is important. If you are having a constitution, then no problem, constitutional law is also important. So either with the help of a constitution or set of rules and regulations, functioning of everything takes place. Functioning of legislature, functioning of executive, functioning of judiciary, and everything through constitution. It can be a written constitution or unwritten constitution. If you are not having a constitution, a set of rules and regulations which are exclusively based on the law of the land, which is nothing but national law, and at the same time we are supposed to follow natural law also. If you are having a constitution, then it is quite simple, then it indicates that we are following a constitutional law. So once again repeating, government in the sense, it depends on your perception, how you are taking the definition of government. Many students are habituated to the present day government definition, because in present day government we are able to see legislatures and executive and judiciaries. In presidential form the things are different, in parliamentary form things are different. So in modern context your perception is different. So in modern context the government is a combination of legislature plus executive plus judiciary, L plus E plus J. But when you go for basic definition, it is a group. A group of people can rule, or an individual can rule. Who rules a particular geographical area by imposing certain rules and regulations, or with the help of a constitution, or with the help of the people. And I am replacing this group with the parliament, because a group of people will be there in the parliament. Those are elected by the people, they are ruling, so they are responsible for everything. So parliament, and this individual, like American context, the president. So a group or an individual who rules a particular geographical area, it is nothing but government actually. And one more thing, availability of government and existence of government is only possible in an organized society. Organized society is nothing but state. So when a society is organized, you can call it as a state, because organized society means it is following certain rules and regulations, which indicates that this organizing society is having a government. So we can say that government is possible only in an organized state and organized society, which is nothing but a state. And one more very common example, you can see that a group of elephants, in the context of animals, a group of elephants will listen to one leader, a group of lions will listen to one leader. Similarly, gorillas and chimpanzees, all these things are going to have one common leader. So that you can say that organization in primitive context. If those animals are having an organization, listening to someone's rules and regulations and listening to someone and obeying the instructions of someone, indicates that a certain sort of government is possible in primitive societies also. But a primitive society is not that much organized. There will be a controversy related to organization and organized state. So in primitive societies also, as the primitive animals are having some amount of rules and regulations and they are following their leader, it indicates that there is some organization is there, and based on that one we can say that there is a possibility of a kind of government, a kind of ruling, a kind of leadership in primitive societies also, but that is not exactly in the context of government. So on strict basis, government is possible in an organized society only, which is nothing but a state. With these concepts only, other concepts like nationality comes. If you have a government, it indicates that that nation is having, it is following certain rules and regulations. Based on that certain rules and regulations, based on some discipline, based on some commitments, based on some responsibilities, they are going to get some kind of nationality, some kind of respect towards their land. You can see it in medieval India, but that is based on Marathas. A very huge respect towards their land. Maratha people in the medieval period against to Mughals, they used to have huge respect towards their land. So that can be taken as example when a small group organizes, an organized group is formed from a primitive society or non-civilized group. When it gradually grows into an organized system, you can develop more powerful system than the emperor itself, that is Marathas versus Mughals. Now here I am not saying that Marathas were primitive group, but in the initially they were not that much organized, but thanks to people like Shivaji, they were organized like anything, and they have built such an empire which is against, which stood against and almost passed Mughal emperor and almost passed the Britishers. If there is no third battle of Panipat, if there is no third battle of Panipat, the entire history will be different. That is a different thing. Now our context is only related to government only. So focus on this word organized society, organized society, organized Marathas, organized society of Marathas resulted in Maratha state. That's a very beautiful example to explain this concept. So a government, formation of government can bring a lot of changes as it happened a number of times in world history. So that's all about government. And in my next session, I will take something related to types of governments. Thank you.